Feeling stuck between two paths? Which one pays more? Which one fits you best? Should you do both? We'll unpack all of those questions and more in this video. Let's go. Hello my friend, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Adrian Somoza, former lead designer at MediaMonks, and now I focus on helping talented freelance web designers grow their talent and charge what they are worth. If you're starting your freelance journey, make sure to check out a list of free resources I'll leave in the description just for you. You'll find everything from a step-by-step roadmap to sales calls questions and even a free course to help you land high-ticket clients. Now, what's the difference between a web designer and a web developer? So think of a web designer as the architect of a digital experience. Just like a residential architect shapes how a family lives in a house, where the rooms are, how the light flows, how privacy works, a web designer shapes how people use and feel inside a website. They're responsible for how the website looks and functions visually. So how clear it is, how easy it is to navigate, and how effective it is at leading users to their goals. Whether that's booking a call, buying a product, or finding an answer. Now, a web developer, on the other hand, is more like the construction team that brings the architect's vision to life. They are responsible for making sure the site loads fast, the buttons work, the form submissions land in the right place, and all the backend logic functions properly, okay? They turn design blueprints into a working reality. So how personality types can guide your path? Let me tell you a quick story, okay? My brother is a developer, always has been. At 12 years old, he took C++ manuals on holiday just to study game development. By 18, he was working internationally, freelancing and earning really well. He's analytical, methodical, and focused. He was definitely born for web development. Me, on the other hand, I was into music, I was into photography, skating, I had a rock band, right? Every artistic hobby out there. I loved designing posters for my rock band. And one day my brother saw me doing that and he said, "Why don't you become a web designer?" So that comment honestly changed my life. I started as a front-end developer because that was my lowest hanging fruit, and that's what he taught me, and he could give me work. But my real passion was in design. I loved animations, I loved the feeling of crafting experiences. I watched the Helvetica movie, right? Like I was into design, diagrams, all that stuff. So that contrast helped me realize there is a big difference between the developer mindset and the designer mindset. He was mathematical, I was visual. So what types of web developers exist? There are many, but let's just simplify it because I'm not a web developer, okay? There's two main types that honestly dominate the field, okay? One is backend development, the other one is front-end development. So backend developers are the ones wiring the electricity in your digital house, okay? So they handle complex systems, database integrations, CMS logins, and anything that happens behind the curtain. Front-end developers, on the other hand, are more visual oriented, okay? So they are in the front side of things. They animate elements, they work on code that translates into how the site looks, right? The colors, the typography, the responsiveness, etc. They really make sure that what the designer envisioned happens. But remember, they execute the designer's ideas, not create them, okay? So where's the money? And should you do both? That's a big question, right? And the first thing I want to say is this. There's no universal right or wrong, right? I started this video saying like web development versus web design. Which one should you choose, right? But there's no right or wrong when it comes to choosing between design and development or doing both. Every one of us has to define what success looks like, okay? What kind of work excites us? What kind of lifestyle we want? How much we want to earn? And then choose the most efficient path to get there. It's not about picking the best option. It's about picking your best option, okay? So here's some pros and cons of doing both, okay? Let's start with doing both design and development. The upside is that you can take full ownership of projects, which often gives you more control and potentially more income from one single client. It can also make you more flexible in the job market or as a freelancer, okay? Now, the downside is that mastering both takes time, okay? It takes a lot of. We're talking about 10,000 hours to become a pro at one thing. And that means 5 years full-time working 8 hours a day, okay? So becoming a pro at any of the two will take twice as long if you're doing both at the same time. And while most people in the industry do wear a lot of hats, and that's a totally valid path, it can dramatically slow down your growth if you're trying to become exceptional in one of the two disciplines. So the path of specialization, okay? In my case, I chose to focus deeply on design. That's where I felt I brought the most value and got the most fulfillment. It's the part of the process where I'm naturally strong, and instead of splitting my focus between two things, I went all in. Now, that decision led to opportunities I honestly never expected. Over time, my design work opened doors to conversations about art direction roles with companies like Apple and Microsoft. Trust me, I'm no one special, okay? I started at zero just like you. So that's only a testimony of what can happen when you focus. You stay consistent and build expertise in one area. Whether you land 6 clients at 20K for full websites or 12 clients at 10K for design-only projects, the effort to close those deals isn't really that different. The real difference is how your time gets spent. If you're doing just design, you'll be able to stay in your creative zone much more. But you will also need to manage more clients throughout the year. So again, define your version of success, then choose the clearest path to get there. Here's what Rafael said, one of my BONT Club members. I can say that Adrian saved my freelance career before I even started. My intention was to offer web design and development services. And thanks to a conversation with Adrian, I understood that I had to focus on what I was good at, design. By following the path of specialization and everything else I teach in the BONT Club, Rafael got to his first 10K month in just 18 months. So quick reminder, if this is resonating with you, don't forget to check out the free resources I've left in the description. There's a roadmap for building your solo web design business, sales close questions, and a free course to get high-ticket clients. Now, isn't the gap between design and no-code small? So right now we're living in an interesting moment, okay? The line between design and development is blurring thanks to no-code tools like Webflow, Framer, and ReadyMag. But here's the truth. They are still not as intuitive or powerful as tools like Figma. Most are clunky, overly manual, and require a lot of toggling and workarounds, especially when it comes to responsiveness and CMS functionality. Take ReadyMag for example. I used ReadyMag to create my own website. Why? Because I wanted to DIY my own website. And what happened? I chose a no-code tool like ReadyMag, and the result is that it looks great, but it took me ages to do it. So you see, like, yeah, I could do a website with a no-code tool, and really ReadyMag, I didn't touch a line of code, but the website is very slow, and I wasn't able to do the responsive version of it because it's really difficult to manage the responsive part of things. So yes, the barrier between design and development is closing, but it's not gone yet, okay? And the learning curve for no-code tools is still steep enough that it's more efficient to specialize, at least for now, and at least in my humble opinion. Now, how does this look like in the real world for freelancers, okay? So if you're a solo designer, you usually handle the proposal, the scope, and the client communication for the design part of things, okay? And then once approved, you hand off to a developer, and ideally, you stay involved to supervise the execution of it. Now, this lets you stay in your zone of genius while still delivering a complete product, okay? And when you work with a trusted developer regularly, you create a powerful partnership. Now, what kind of clients hire designers versus designers and developers? The higher the budget, the more specialized the role. Clients paying 15K plus expect deep expertise, okay? That's why it's easier to charge premium prices when you focus. One of my clients charged 15K for design alone, design and branding in 1 month of work, Chris Owens. Another does both design and development and only gets around 7K, which is, only, right? It's great, but same project type. The difference is focus, okay, and the type of client and expertise they have. So if you're aiming for high ticket, pick a lane and own it, and then build strong partnerships to cover the other side of the coin. Now, don't I need to know development just to know what's possible? Listen, I heard of people who even invested $3,000 and up to $6,000 in learning how to do development just to understand what's possible. No, that's what your developer partner is for, okay? You shoot for the stars and then they help you land on the moon, okay? And over time, you'll naturally learn what's possible just by working with them, okay? And you'll find developers who say, that's impossible, and others who just go build it in an hour, okay? So partner wisely. So now it's time to decide. Which one is right for you? Are you going to do both? I hope this video clarified things for you and makes the decision easier. Remember that if you're starting your freelance web design journey, I prepared a list of free resources for you to grab in the description. Make sure to check it out and grab what you need. That's it for today. Hope you found it valuable, my friend. And as always, let's bridge the gap one pixel at a time.